Welcome to another session of our LHM 2013. Speaking to the people that matter and make change in our lives. Our regular is Doc Sheldon, and we're being joined today by Laura Crest, who recently partnered with Doc and is the co-owner and managing director of Top Shelf Coffee. As you know, every week we ask someone in our vast community to talk about a variety of topics. And today we've brought in Gini Dietrich.
Yay.
Hello, Gini.
Hi, everyone.
Real quickly, Gini is the founder and CEO of Arment Dietrich, a Chicago-based integrated marketing communications firm. She's the lead blogger at PR and Marketing Blog, Spin Sucks, co-author of Marketing in the Round, and co-host of Inside PR, which is a weekly podcast about communications and social media. Her second book, Spin Sucks, love the title, by the way, is due out in January 2014. We're going to go ahead and give you ways to connect with her at once we post this video live. Google+, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, LinkedIn. Is there anything that you're not on?
Cool.
So anyway, Doc, you can go ahead and take it away.
Well, hi, Gini. Very much appreciate your joining us. Looking forward to this.
Yeah.
You've been doing this a while, and
I have not.
Well, a little while.
Bite your tongue.
But you've certainly been doing it very, very well. You've been very effective, and I think we've got a lot that we can all learn from you. Could you tell us a little about how the public plays a role in the traditional sense versus a digital sense in terms of building, well, whether it be building brand or just building awareness, or basically public relations in terms of traditional versus digital? How does that play?
Did we lose Laura?
No, I'm
here. You had to get a coat and scarf and gloves and hat.
Right. It's cold here.
Actually, let's mute our microphones when the other person's talking, so like that Google doesn't pick it up. That's okay. It's all right.
No, well.
So, Doc, and to answer your question, this is good timing because I actually just wrote the introduction to Spin Sucks the other day. So I did a nice review of the history of PR, and you know, Edward Bernays is credited for creating the industry in 1929, and what he did was become the press man. And he found ways to talk to journalists about what organizations were doing and have them tell the story for the organization. And because of that, the industry has evolved into media relations, which is what everybody considers to be public relations. Of course, from an offline perspective, there's also things like crisis communication and reputation management and events and investor relations and public affairs, and you know, there's all these sorts of tactics underneath the PR toolbox or umbrella, but everybody considers PR to be media relations. So when the digital market exploded and you all of a sudden had access to your customers one-on-one, what happened was people started saying, well, wait a second, we don't really need the middleman anymore, because the middleman was the PR person who had the relationship with the organization and also had the relationship with the media so that they could talk to one another. So we've always sort of been that middleman, and now we have direct access to journalists, we have direct access to customers, we have direct access to stakeholders, and so you're seeing a shift in how we're doing our jobs. And because a lot of what social is communication, we're starting to see it cement more on the PR side than anything else. So, I mean, I wouldn't say that either one is, what's the word I want? You know, traditional by no stretch of the imagination is dead. It's just we're seeing a lot of integration with the offline and online because of that.
Okay, interesting.
So, whoops, let me take my mic off. So keeping that thought in mind, because I know, at least Doc and we come from the traditional, you know, I mean, we're old enough where we worked at ad agencies. And ad agencies, the big thing back in the day was print.
Yep.
TV, radio. Not to say it's no longer a viable resource or tactic, if you will. So with Arment Dietrich, how involved are you when it comes to print, when it comes to advertising? I know you write books, but as far as your clients, how much of that are you bringing into the different or various campaigns with clients without, giving too much info or client names?
Not very much. I mean, we don't do any print advertising in the traditional sense. We are starting to do some advertising, especially when it comes to like Facebook sponsored posts and Twitter sponsored posts. That's not what it's called. What is Twitter's called? Not sponsored posts, but you know what I mean. In terms of that kind of stuff where you're paying for it on the social networks, but we don't do any, we don't have copywriters that can do the catchy headlines, and we don't have creative guys that can create the pretty pictures, and so we don't do any media buying or anything like that. We're more on the what I'll call behind the scenes perspective, because it's very it's helping to communicate the message and finding the right people to do that for you versus going out there and doing the paid stuff. And yeah, book publishing, whew, that's a whole different.
Yeah, especially when you're self-publishing. Self-publishing has become almost second nature to some people.
Yeah.
When they're good at it.
Yeah.
And if you've got a great list of, I hate using the word, big hitters, if you will, in your network, whether they're gurus or whether they have huge followings. If you can get your foot in there and they like you and they believe in what you're doing, they will more likely than not, plug a book for you or,
sure,
retweet something for you or share it on Facebook. And, that's a huge plus. That is a huge, huge plus. So I do see how, even as a PR firm, you can jump out of the advertising, TV, radio, because you have that other network, that other resource.
Yeah.
And you, of all people, I mean, how many followers do you have on Twitter, Facebook, Google+?
I have
all
none.
added together. Thousands.
Oh, no.
Which some journalists and PR would just, love to have. But you've done it online, which, has a lot to say for your fortitude and smarts. Doc, you want to hit the next question, or should I?
That's kind of a good segue into the next question, which is basically in terms of awareness and word of mouth, particularly. How do you start a word of mouth campaign, Gini?
Easy question, right?
Piece of cake.
I hate this answer, but it depends. It depends on what you're doing.
Well, give us an example.
I'm going to give you a really good example of what's happening right now, and you're all going to groan, but it's a great example.
Okay.
Miley Cyrus.
I'll take my mute button so I don't groan too loud.
Miley Cyrus decided that it was time to shed the Hannah Montana persona. It was time to get rid of the whole Disney Channel, good, wholesome girl, good attitude, that kind of thing. And to do that, she had to change the conversation. And to change the conversation, she had to do what she did on the VMAs, which pissed everybody off, and everybody's been talking about twerking and the inappropriateness and the, was she high and what was she on, so she completely changed the conversation, and she let that burn for about a week, and then they released the new album, Wrecking Ball, and we all have seen the photos of most of us have probably seen the music video, but you have definitely seen the naked photos that are not safe for work. And then she created a mini documentary to tell her side of the story. And then she went on Saturday Night Live and she answered. And she said, I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but she essentially said, I'm not going to talk about Hannah Montana, but I can tell you she was murdered. And so she took that and allowed the conversation to really, I mean, she completely changed it. So it went from this wholesome young lady that was a great role model for kids, especially that tween age for girls, and she completely changed it. And it doesn't matter if you love her or hate her. It's a PR textbook case study because of how well she created that word of mouth.
Yeah, you have to wonder whether it was just an awesomely created campaign,
it was.
or if it was just a wonderful recovery from a misstep.
It was 100% absolutely
It certainly
done on
came
purpose.
off well. Yeah, it was. I don't think you could have planned it any better, really.
No.
She wanted to shed that. She shed a lot more than the Disney, of course. But it worked.
I mean, I'm no prude, and I couldn't care less. In Europe, we still, there's nude advertisements on billboards. So I was not shocked. What I was shocked at, more than anything, was the reaction of people. Then I had to remind myself, Gabriella, you're in America. Gabriella, you're in America. And maybe the PR people went to the extreme because they knew this was going to change the conversation. And in some cases, bad PR is not good PR, because the old school of thought is any PR is good PR.
Yes.
Not today. If you've got a bad online reputation management, it's not a good PR. Now in regards to different types of campaigns that you've worked on, whether it's been for brand development, for online reputation management, what are some tools that you would suggest, people that want to do this, or people that are in PR and digital marketing that you use, and why?
I mean, there's a whole host of them. Some of them you can pay for, and some of them are free. We like the paid version of Hootsuite because it allows us to, have one dashboard for all of our social networks, and it gives us some analytics as well. I think it's it's less than $10 a month, so it's not a huge investment. You can do free monitoring through, I prefer TalkWalker alerts to Google alerts, because I think the information they find is better than what Google is doing. Google seems to have, I know we're on a Google platform, but they seem to have stopped supporting alerts, and so I like TalkWalker alerts from that perspective. If you have Salesforce, the Radian 6 app platform is inside Salesforce, so using that is a great tool. Again, that's an expense, of course. So you have a wide variety of things. Right now I'm testing the Cision Content Marketing Suite on SpinSucks, and we found that they use Outbrain and one other that starts with a T, and it's escaping me, but they use those two things to amplify. And we're finding that, it is helping amplify the message quite a bit. So I'm not finished with the test yet, so I'm not prepared to talk about it. But that's a fee as well. But there are things that you can use both on the free and paid tools that help you do your job a little bit better and more effectively.
Well, maybe I guess I should have included, what are some signals, rather than just what kind of tools, but what are some signals that are important in a PR campaign? We've learned through the lifetime of Facebook that likes aren't that big of a deal. Anybody can hit a like. You can buy 5,000 likes at Fiverr for $10. So for you as a professional, someone that's been doing this for a while, what are some signals that you would want to quote unquote measure, and then bringing in the different measuring tools?
So again, I mean, it depends, right? We do a lot of B2B manufacturing work, and so we are looking for things. We find the sales catalyst. What motivates somebody to request a quote, or request more information, or pick up the phone and call? What are those motivating factors? And we use content to drive people to make that decision. So nothing has changed in terms of the marketing funnel, where you have the top of the funnel where people are, just trying to get to know you, and then you have the middle of the funnel where they say, oh, this is interesting, I might want to learn more, and then they get more advanced and more in-depth content, and then the bottom of the funnel where they're converting to customer, and the types of things that you do there. So the signals that we're using are what kinds of content are going to push them through that funnel dependent on the sales cycle for the
So
client.
the awareness, the, enamored, and then the
Yeah.
questioning, and then finally the buy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Doc, you want to take the next one?